Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Scarf Bagara War. Your ears are not deceiving you. This is not a Monday morning. I am Jimmy Harmer. I'm normally on the Courtyard Club call. It is, in fact, a Wednesday evening, and Russ can't make it. Waggy's a bit poorly. So you got me, you got Andy, and we got a fab fan guest returning as well, Gaz Eccleston. So, so here we are. How are you doing, Andy?
All right, yeah. Where's the intro? You forgot the intro.
Yeah, exactly. This is the first time that I've done it. So I was thinking, press the go live button, intro disappears. To be fair, we don't need an intro.
Talk about already being a car crash. At least Waggy knew what intro to press.
I've done it, mate. I'm ploughing my own furrow, yeah? That is what we do here. We are doing it. We're ignoring what Russ and Waggy doing, okay? We're going to do what we want to do. Should we get Gaz out? How about that?
Yeah,
let's see if I can fuck this up.
Joking! You're joking!
Nice. Not quite sure why I chose that one.
Hi, Gaz, you all right?
Yeah, good. Thank you, lads. You okay?
Nice one. Great to have you on anyway, Gaz. You are a regular on this podcast. Far more than me, to be fair. So there we go. So let's just run through our running order for tonight. And hello to everybody that is joining us. Good evening, Dave Whitehead. So we're going to start off with a very quick review of the Lincoln game at the weekend. Again, if you want an in-depth one on that, go to the Courtyard Club call and play that. We'll talk about April Player of the Month, who we think that might be. We'll talk about the game against Middlesbrough on last night. So B team game that we won 3-2. Wickham, people selling back tickets. Have a bit of chat around that. Who we think the most important player is going to be for us in our run-in, so in May, and then a couple of extra games that are due to be played in the next week or so by our ladies team and our under-15s. So, shall we start with Lincoln? Go on, Gaz. Seeing as you're our guest, what do you think of that, bud?
Yeah, so I guess the first half I can't comment on that much because I actually arrived at half time. So funnily enough, I've got an explanation. So I had to go to one of my best mates' son's birthday party. And the reason I had to go was a couple of years ago, he actually asked me to be a godparent for his son. And it actually fell on the day of the Wrexham game that we could have won the title. So I was like, oh, no, don't worry, I'll be there. And what I basically did was text him 2 days before, and I was like, oh, my God, I can't not miss this game. So went to that game. We got walloped 3-0. I then went back to the pub to see them afterwards with like my tail between my legs. And I've always felt a bit guilty since then. So, I went to the party, left half time, rocked up with my son, and my friends were just like, why have you bothered? To be fair, though, the feedback I've heard, yes, obviously 2-0 down, but I think we played quite well. So I've watched the highlights. We had a few chances, didn't we? But it's one of them where actually you can play okay and end up a couple of goals behind, which is becoming a habit, at least by conceding the one. But second half, what was it, 30 seconds? Fevs came on, made a massive impact. So I was like, here we go, here's the comeback. You just felt it turn a little bit then, didn't you? You felt, we're shooting towards the Cheadle end, we've got momentum. So that second goal comes eventually. My son needs a wee. So I go, right, okay, well, go to the toilet. And then I just felt, right, come on, we need to hurry up. Picked him up, ran down the stairs. I see Fevs cutting across, plays the ball to Tanton. I'm like throwing him in the air. Someone chucked a pint actually as well. So it was like a plastic pint that went over silo mass, kind of went over me and my son as well. So there's a video I've seen of him turning around going, who the hell's that? But it was just absolute euphoria in the Cheadle end, wasn't it? So I just think we made hard work of it, but character and, charisma to come on. Players that perhaps haven't been massively in form have stepped up and made a massive impact, and thoroughly enjoyable game. So, I enjoyed the 45 minutes or so that I attended anyway. But got the result, and it was nice to applaud the players off at the end. I think they got a well-deserved applause because it's been, even if it's stopped now, what a fantastic season we've had.
I'm pretty sure that it wasn't Andy that threw a pint over you, because he wouldn't have do that with you, Andy. It'd be straight down your throat. That
he wouldn't waste.
There's no way I would ever waste a pint, no matter how much I was cheering. I think a pie has accidentally left my hands once, not on purpose, but just because I've been cheering. But yeah, I kind of echo what Gaz was saying there. But on the first half, we didn't play badly at all. It was just a couple of errors. To be fair, the second one I thought was a well-taken goal. The first one was. We weren't playing bad. I always do this thing if we go 1-0 down or 2-0 down. I think, right, second half, if we can be 2-1 down by the 70th minute, we've got a chance.
Yeah.
And then as long as we're drawing by 80th minute, we've got a chance to win the game. We scored within what? 5 minutes, was it? Something stupid like that.
Yeah, it was.
Like 30, 40 seconds. Yeah, it was super quick.
And I turned around to my mate and I said, "We're going to win this," because it was just. I don't know. It just our tails were up, and it just felt like everything that we were going to run forward and drive. It felt like we were so close to another chance, and then as soon as that second went in, it was just limbs everywhere. I want it, and then because I started the day only having a couple of pints, but by half time I was 5 or 6 in. I thought I can't hold it in any longer. So all I'll say is it's the best goal that I've ever missed.
Oh, no.
But I wouldn't mind, but a couple of the lower tier 6 guys who sit right at the back, I was chatting to them just before, about 2 minutes before the cross came in. I was saying, I feel like we're going to score here. I feel like we're going to score. And they're like, oh, it's a free kick. Just go now. So I'm blaming them. Because I went to the toilet, and then, that silence before a goal? Yeah. It's like a split second of silence. And as soon as I heard that silence where everything went quiet, I just knew. I turned around and just went, this is a goal. And then I don't know if you've ever had a piss in the cheetah lane and heard a goal. It just sounds like the most amazing thing ever. It's the best sound in the world.
Am I right in saying that Ian missed all of them? I'm sure I saw a tweet or something on social media saying he missed every single goal.
Yeah. But I keep saying it, and I agree with Ian. If we're scoring and winning, I'll miss them. I can watch them on the highlights. I can still get the atmosphere.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all we want is to score. Whether we see them or it's great if you see them, don't get me wrong. But if we score and we miss them, great, because it means the team are doing well.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about momentum at this stage of the season as well. Not getting injuries, so we didn't get any injuries in that game, and just sort of keeping that feel-good factor up. The belief that the players can come back from losing positions. I think this sort of does sum the first half up. So, sorry, I don't know your name. Lelum 244 played worse than that this season. Gone in at halftime in front. Absolutely spot on. We should have been probably at least a couple up at halftime with the chances that we had, but we need to take those chances. What do you guys think of? So I mean, you didn't see the first half, but Kyle didn't have one of his better games, Gaz. So Sam Cosgrove, he actually scored in this midweek game last night against Middlesbrough. What do you think he's got to do, Gaz, to sort of get like half an hour?
Yeah, I was very hopeful for him. I remember when we signed him, and was it from Barnsley we've got him on loan for? The fans were you get a sense of what the opinion is, and the opinion was mixed, to be fair, let's say. But I'm always like, you never know what's going to happen when a player has a fresh environment, a new team, and an energy to go and do well. Realistically, Wootton probably needed a rest, and Wootton's had his critics, hasn't he? So I'm a fan of Wootton. I always have been. I think he does the the dog's work. He gets himself in positions. Okay, might not score them, but he's got in a position to try and have a go. That header that hit the post and then rolled across, I celebrated that as if it had gone in. I think half the ground did. But to answer your question, Cosgrove, I don't know. Ultimately, you've got to work hard in training because that's the window he's got right now. He's got to, I don't know, you've got to work hard, apply yourself in training, and either hope that Wootton's legs go or maybe he gets injured selfishly and take your opportunity there. But it's just not really worked out for him, has it? Like when I've seen him come on, you know, it's not a personal attack or anything. It's more from what I've seen, he gives fouls away. Wootton gives fouls away. So if you're going to come on and try and add value, try and not do that and fall into that trap. But realistically, Wootton, for me, is doing a good enough job to maintain his place. And then it's about trust, isn't it? And who you're going to back at the business end of the season.
Yeah, no, agreed. If I can just apologise to Martin. Of course, it's Martin Ellum. I had him on the Courtyard Club call a couple of weeks ago. It was the L. You look like Lellum as opposed to Ellum. So big apologies, Martin. Whoops.
Yeah, I kind of just going back to the Wootton thing. I don't think Wootton had his best game on Saturday, first half at least, anyway. But with the whole Cosgrove thing, I just think Wootton did need a rest, but then Wootton also found form, as did Tanto did. So I think there wasn't really a place for Cosgrove. And I agree with what Gaz just said, that if you're going to want to try and impress, do something a little bit different to say what Wootton does. Wootton holds the ball up well. He gets called for fouls, whether he's fouling or not. He still gets called up for them. So if you're going to go down that route, try something a little bit different. And I think he was brought in as a sort of backup, because if Wootton did get injured or is fatigued, we are in a bit of trouble, aren't we? Yeah. Because our main sort of front attack is mainly geared. No, I'm not talking we're a Route 1 team, but we're geared around that sort of hold-up play. And then let's not forget that we bought Brecky with that sort of like future prospect role, and he's coming straight into the team and is keeping out Cosgrove and, you know, even Tanto on Saturday. That's a story for another day. Maybe I'm not. I still think is an impact sub player.
Yeah,
but yeah. I mean, this comment here from Dunco, even if he's not getting in the matchday squad, having competition for Woots adds value in itself. And we sometimes forget that these guys are training as well. So you probably need multiple types of the same player to sort of help out in training. So you need two big uns in training to give maybe Woots a bit of a break, and you've got Grove giving the central defenders a little bit of a headache in the air or whatever it is. Dan Culverwell, Dan, you're right. Brecky development has put Cosgrove down the order, and you just mentioned that as well, Andy. I don't think anybody expected Benno to be as sharp, as effective as he has been. I mean, just going on to that Middlesbrough game. Interesting that Hamilton was nowhere to be seen. So if I just run through the starting 11, so we had Andrew Wogan in net. Hamilton. So we got Andrew Wogan in nets, a trialist. Reece Watson, so Odin Bailey got some minutes. Jay Mingy. Apparently Jay played 90 minutes, which is a real positive when we've only seen 30, 45 minutes with his problems that he's got with this lactic acid thing in his muscles. Cal Connolly got a game. Jack Diamond, he scored a goal. Ashton Mee, he was captain, which is very interesting. Obviously, we've not seen much of him since we got our promotions, but the club, I think he's on is he another 2 or 3 years on his contract? So they must see something in him to think, he's going to be one for the future. And then Sam Cosgrove, Arian Allen, not sure who that is. And it's a guy called Marcus Kuam, who I believe is a 17-year-old striker. And he scored plenty of goals in the tournament that he's sort of played. I can't remember what the name of the tournament is, but it's a special like under 21s tournament. I think he's the leading goal scorer in that tournament, averaging a goal every 57 minutes in there. So and he's tall, gangly, again very well thought of. So no place for Micah Hamilton, guys. What does the Dave doesn't
actually? Martin's just put a good point out. Actually, was he missing because it's his parent club?
It's a good point, Martin. But I don't think the game. I mean, the game wouldn't. I mean, maybe he played for Middlesbrough. We've not got Middlesbrough's team, so it's a good point. I wouldn't have thought it would be because he's his parent club, because it's a meaningless friendly, isn't it?
No, but he could have played for Middlesbrough, just like Ashton May. I think, as I was just about to say, but Rob Landers pointed out that May's on loan, but you can bring in players like Diamond can play, even though he's suspended. So he might be. I don't know. Just guessing, aren't we? But yeah, sounds promising. It's good though, because it's the likes of Jack Diamond and Mingy, who I think are going to be really important for us in the 4 games we will definitely play in May.
Yeah.
Did you like what I did there?
I did. Yeah.
I'm just trying to show, send some optimism that way.
You're basically copying what I said about 5 minutes ago. I said four games in May, but you do you, Boo.
Yeah. What is that?
Just saying.
If we're going down that route, Jimmy, I'm just going to make sure that the podcast tonight runs for as long as possible.
That's fine. Listen, everybody who's watching, listening, I need to finish this at 9 o'clock because I promised my missus that we're going to watch Race Across the World at 9. So you can all plan your evenings around that.
Yeah, but if we're all still waffling, what are you going to do?
I'll just get up and leave. That's fine. You can.
Okay.
In fact, I'm the only one with the buttons. That's the problem. I don't want to get all like waggy on us here and say like I'm controlling the buttons, but I literally am the only one with the buttons. Unless
in fairness, though, Jimmy, Waggy doesn't know the buttons anyway, even if he has them. So
yeah, well, that's true.
Anyway, on so far, you might accidentally press stream, and then we're all watching it here, aren't we, for the hour?
In fact, just do that anyway, Jimmy, and bring your missus in. She can be on the podcast and watch it at the same time.
I think that's a different type of live event altogether, Andy.
Love it. Right, moving on. Where were we? So
moving on. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to continue talking about Lincoln. I think we've done that now, have we? Great win.
Yeah, I think it's done. Great win. Like you guys covered it more in depth on your club code, didn't you?
Okay, well, we talked about the Middlesbrough the B team game. How about we move on to, since the end of April Player of the Month? Who are you thinking, Andy, for your Player of the Month and why?
I think the person I think it's going to be is Diamond because of his good form. The person I think who actually deserves it, I'm not saying Diamond doesn't, but Ollie Norwood. He is just, the last month or so, he's been outstanding.
Yeah,
and almost gone a little bit unnoticed, hasn't he? He's not been picking up Man of the Match awards, but he's just been unbelievable. That the balls he was playing on Saturday were just, to be fair, Fevs' control is just outstanding as well. I'm not saying Fevs is going to win Player of the Month, but just Ollie Norwood, just absolutely brilliant. That's who I would go with.
What I'll say, just to add to that, though, bearing in mind 45 minutes of the game is all I saw. I saw 2 terrible corners from Norwood where it didn't even get past the front post. I was like, oh, my God. However, don't let that take away from the quality he is, because he is unbelievable. And I 100% agree. You took the words out of my mouth, basically. I think you go for your flashy player. Diamond stands out because he's had that impact, whereas I look at that Peterborough game. I went to that. Funnily enough, my mate whose son's birthday was, his father-in-law sponsored the game at Peterborough. So for some reason, I'm stood on the pitch before the game with the players coming out, and a few of my mates looking across going, why the hell are you on the pitch over there? And randomly, we sponsored the Peterborough game, so we had like a corporate there. And what stands out from like that game is, yes, Diamond got the winner, but he also gave the ball away about 4 times. I'm like, I haven't got the hair to pull out, but I'm like trying to pull it out because I'm like, come on, mate. However, the type of profile of player he is, he's taking risks. And I don't mind players that take risk because it won't always come off and it carves the game open. So, yeah, it's massively disappointing for him in terms of the ban, the suspension. However, he's been fantastic, hasn't he? Or you revert back to, well, who can you rely on? Who's the one that goes under the radar or not overly fashionable? But, you know, Norwood is class, isn't he? He just slows the game down when suitable. He pings balls out for fun. His delivery, 9 times out of 10, is outstanding. And when we signed him, I was very much around the kind of ilk of, we've got another Powell, really, where it's like, but then he's fit. He always plays. He is reliable. He is, you know, what he does well, he does outstanding, doesn't he? So a nod to him. Like he has carried us at times in terms of that quality and that experience, which definitely deserves a recognition as well.
Yeah, and I agree with what you were saying about when we first signed him. I did again raise my eyebrows. Thought I was another Powell, but then someone pointed out, just look at his stats for the last few years, and it's pretty much been all present. And I've got a friend this is weird anyway. A friend of mine who is a Wrexham fan, but only over the last 3 years because he used to be a Sheffield United fan. What? But he's still a Sheffield United fan.
Andy, stop. And this guy is still your friend.
Well, hang on a minute. You're still my friend, but you wore a Wrexham shirt, so I'll finish what I was saying.
No. I wore a Wrexham scarf.
All right. Anyway.
Not forgivable.
It was unforgivable. That's right. It was misjudged, but it was in support of Lee. He was wearing.
Anyway, you're still my friend, Jimmy. So, but my point is when
hang on.
I messaged my.
I've not changed my support to Wrexham. Okay, I'm still a county fan. Always will be.
Well, neither have I. I'm just telling a story, Jimmy. Right. So my friend, it's totally gone now. The story.
Out him. Go on. What's his name?
I'm not outing him. Not a chance. It's called James.
Oh.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
I don't even know what I'm saying now, Jimmy. It's your fault.
You were talking about...
I texted him and said, thanks for Ollie Norwood. And he just messaged back saying, he's absolutely class. I can't believe that he's dropped from the Premiership down to League One. And I just asked him, I said, is he fit? Does he play? He was like, yeah, 100%. He doesn't get injured, touch wood.
Yeah.
So
and you hit the nail on the head, Gaz, when you said the word reliable. That is what Dave needs. He needs a reliable player, both reliable fitness and the performance that he's going to give you. He's not going to be a 5 1 week and a 9 the next.
Yeah.
Okay, two scruffy corners. I agree. I was just as frustrated as you were, but generally speaking, his delivery is brilliant. And it's not just those long balls, although those long balls to Fevs were just beautiful. It's how he takes the ball off the central defenders, so it just takes away any need for them to try and play long balls because he can do it himself.
Yeah.
Such a shame that Lewis Bay and Callum Camps have been injured because, again, they complement him perfectly. We've already said on the Courtyard Club call that Moxon's just finding his feet. He puts 110% in, but he's just not quite there yet. And so
he'll be class. Like,
I think he will be. I mean, we know what he can do. I mean, loads of votes in the comments for Norwood. So Martin, Norwood. Who else has said Norwood? Anthony Nixon, Norwood leadership.
Hills as well. Hills
and Diamond as well. So Edward F, thank you. Yeah, Hills or Diamond, they've been brilliant as well. Tough decision.
Just going back to the Norwood thing as well. If you watch him off the ball, he congratulates players. He'll clap and he'll encourage players, but he'll also bollock players as well when he thinks that they're. And that's the experience we need. We need someone who's been there, done it at the top level and know when to congratulate or when to put her arm around them and he does so much off the ball as well as on the ball. He's just an all-round player. With the Moxon thing, it took Norwood quite a few months to settle in and he's come from Premiership. So it's going to take Moxon a little bit of time, but you are right. He does give it. But who did you say for my player of the month, Jimmy?
Me, I think it's Norwood. Absolutely,
Norwood.
hands down. He's been so consistent, and everything that we've done well has come from him. Without Norwood on the pitch, Fevrier doesn't get that space to be his man, and it was one man, and that's the point, because Norwood can ping that ball so accurately and so quickly that it doesn't give the opposition chance to get two men quickly onto Fevs. By the time the second man has arrived, Fevs has already passed the first and is in a crossing position. So yeah, Norwood. So okay, well, if we move on to the 4 games in May, Andy, who do you think is going to be the key player? Bearing in mind, Pete Cormack has said Powell set to be back for the playoffs, could make an impact. That's true. We've got every single player back for the playoffs, if you believe them, what they said at Carrington last Tuesday. So yeah, Camps, Ben, Powell, Bate. It's pretty much all. Is that all the key injured players? Maka.
Yeah, that's because Rydell was already back and Noyle was already back, weren't they? So
yeah,
it's a tricky one. This it's like trying to say who do you think's played the best this season. It's a tricky one. I think you have to sort of have your top 3, I would say. So I think Norwood, he's going to be a key player for us. Diamond, and someone who's proved me wrong week in, week out. I still have a few little gripes about him, but I die. Just he's stepped up. We all asked him to step up. And okay, he still does things that gets on our nerves or whatever, but he's saving. And there was a chap in front of me, lovely guy, and we weren't having an argument or anything like that. But on Saturday, when the first goal went in, the first thing he did is turn around to me and go, he should have come out. He should have been off his line. I said, yeah, but if as a keeper, you have to use your head and think between ball, goal, and that distance between those. If you come off your line and the forwards half a step ahead of you already, it's just going to turn it round you, and it's a goal anyway. So you've just got to make yourself big and close that space down. And he did that. He did everything right. So I just think we all wanted him to step up, and he had to. He was forced to. Yeah, probably earlier than because would Ben still be in the team if he wasn't injured? But he is, and Corey came in and he stepped up. So I just think keep Corey's confidence up. Yeah. The atmosphere towards Corey at the moment in that Chile is just absolutely brilliant. And he could even be a contender for player of the month, because if you look at the saves, the important saves he's made, what was the game before Lincoln? Who did we play?
Peterborough? No, it was the home
Huddersfield, was it?
Huddersfield. Yeah. That he made a couple of good saves in that. Even the Peterborough game, when we equalised, he made a good save at the end as well. So he's making the important saves. He's going to make mistakes. There's goals are going to go in, and we'll probably all turn around and say he should have come out. He should have got that. But then you could look at any player on that pitch and say, how's it got to us blaming Corey in the first place? Because there's so many instances that happened before that. So for me, I think the key players will be Norwood, Diamond, and Adai.
Nice. What about you, Gaz?
Yeah, I think you've got to mention Corey Adai, like you say, thrown in at the deep end. I think he was put in the squad far too soon, because I don't think you should have dropped Hinchliffe at the start of the season. It's the kind of after Jim Gannon scenario where you're always onto you're not onto a winner, are you? And the reality of it, was he prepared to play that Wigan game? Did he expect to play? I love the fact that the fans give him a proper roar and got behind him. But imagine playing under that pressure when you feel like you're being heavily criticised. You're not the number one fan. You've then got to go and perform. He mentioned, I can't think of the goalkeeper coach, but he said he's been massive for him in terms of confidence and bigging him up and just doing all the details that's required. Nick Colgan, was it? He used to play for us or something. Yeah. So I think, the reality, when we lost Ben, I went, Christ, that is a massive, massive hole that we need someone to step up and fill, and he's done it. So you've got to, we need to rely on him. Some of the saves he's been making is fantastic. We're going to concede goals. We're getting into a habit of it, aren't we? So we can't blame him every time. I think the likes of Ethan Pye, so young, had a little bit of a wobble at Peterborough, and that's the first time you mention or notice it, which screams how reliable he is. That tackle he did, where he's running to the railway end, gets his foot in. Anyone else is like, no, you don't need to. He's won the ball. And you're like, oh my God, for a young lad, left-footed, unbelievable. And again, you just expect it. It's the whole reliability. He's going to turn up and be 8 out of 10. Maybe not the first person you think of all the time because he's not as flashy as your bait or whatever, but quality, reliable, and someone that will actually stand up for you. And then I think someone like a Tanto, the goal at Bolton, where he's just picked it up, ran about a mile and buried it and just sent the away end into raptures. Again, he's had his critics. I've got friends that are like, oh, no, he's not going to step up. And he had his moment where he couldn't get in the team or he had his barren run. He's unplayable when he's on form. We've got to remember, we're League One. He ain't going to score 40 goals a season. He's going to have peaks and troughs or whatever. But he's got a moment in him where he can get in the right place. He can have a little moment of magic. And I just think, there's plenty of teams that will go, who is that number 9 you've got? He is class. He was really hard to play against. He's fast as whatever. I just think, he'll be, that's your spine really, isn't it? Not even talking about the Rolls Royce of midfield that we've got. It's ridiculous, really.
Yeah. I'm going to go with, the whole squad. I'm being really silly here, but I think our squad is so much stronger than our first 11, and I think
That's
got
not fair. Pick a player.
Fevs. You push me. No, but seriously. So I've not seen any teams that have come to Edgeley Park or the games that have been away as well where I've thought, oh, that sub has really made them so much better. But there's so many times this season where we brought Jack Diamond off the bench or Jaden Fevrier off the bench, or maybe Tanto hasn't started, or maybe Benno's come on and done something. And I just think the quality of our squad that the club have put together, Simon Wilson, Dave, well done. And so, yeah, I think that will serve us so well in the playoffs. You've got to remember that Wembley's a massive pitch. And I'm already thinking we're going to get to Wembley, and I'm thinking Ollie Norwood pinging balls to Fevs and Diamond, with Tanto running past defenders as well. It's a completely different squad from when we were last at Wembley, when we only had the pace of Tanto, really. I can't remember anybody else in that team that was particularly quick.
And not even
got a lot more now.
Not even just the pace there, just on that point. I'll be honest, last time I came on here, I was asked the question, Barry's gone. Can we mention his name, whatever? Can we maintain where we're at? And I was like, no, I'll be honest. We'll drop to 10th or 12th. Realistically, we've got to spread the goals across the team. And I couldn't see it. Whereas at that time, don't forget, we were in that Christmas period of playing well, going to Huddersfield, conceding after whatever, and then playing all right and not getting results. And I was just like, oh my God, this is going to be a bit of a slog. Whereas look at where we've come up, look at our form. Our home form's incredible. Our away form's decent. Over 2 legs, I back us to win our home game and at least get a draw away as a minimum. And going back to that point of Wembley, not only have we got depth this time, but we haven't got the injuries. I'll be honest, again, earlier in the season, I had Carlisle season vibes. I was going, we'll get to Wembley, but I don't think we'll win. And I kind of thought, do you know what? Obviously, I want to win. I'd be delighted if we won, but I'd be proud that actually first season we've pushed on, we'll have a fantastic follow-up season. However, I take that back and I go, do you know what? We're going into this full depth with options, with a manager that knows how to win and actually can make those bold decisions of, all right, it's not going right. Let's throw 3 subs on there, get the impact, change the game and get the win. And there's no Carlisle season vibes at all. I am confident it'll be a challenge, but I back us to, go all the way.
Yeah, I mean, Martin, good point. And non-fit Will Collar at Wembley as well. Plus, I think Sars wasn't fit either. I think Croasdale, I can't even remember whether Croasdale was properly fit as well. I think our 3 key midfielders were all.
It was going to go to penalties, and we had to take our penalty takers off because they were running on nothing, weren't they? So then I was going, oh my God, it's just like, it was inevitable really. But we just ran out of steam. Whereas right now, I think we're at our peak and we've got momentum.
Do we think that Corey, if we get to Wembley and it goes to penalties, do we think he would do the shit housing?
Sorry. You said if.
When we get to Wembley, if it goes to penalties, will Corey do what the Carlisle keeper did, which really wound me up? He was proper shit housing our players. Do you remember? Yeah, he kept like walking up to the penalty spot and like doing all this arm waving and all that sort of shit. Yeah. Do you reckon Corey would do that, or do you reckon he's too?
Yeah, I think he will. Cool, it's part of his game, isn't it? That sort of theatrics of, if you watch him catch the ball in the dying seconds of a game, he ain't getting up quick. No. Not a chance.
He's a big lad. It takes him a while to sort of get back up again. You can't blame him. Yeah, nice, cool. Okay then. So I think we've done players and stuff to death, haven't we? Should we just have a quick chat about the Wickham game? So, few people have been selling their tickets or been giving the tickets back to the club. What's our thought on that? I mean, it's going to be an expensive month when we get to Wembley and we need to pay for the trip down to London and all that sort of stuff. So, what do you reckon, Gaz?
I know why you're asking me. So I had a conversation in the WhatsApp group with my mates the other day, and they were like, "Oh, they're selling the tickets or whatever," and I just kind of went, "I returned mine today," and I did. The reality of it, I feel like the game has lost its importance. I feel like it's probably going to be played like a friendly. I feel like there's going to be a fear of don't get injured. We both take a point. We both finish in the top 2 of the playoffs. We're both happy type scenario. And the reality is it's a long way. It's expensive. Back of my mind, I'm thinking, right, it's going to be a trip to London potentially twice. And I've been craving a beach day. The weather's glorious at the moment, and then it's going to get a bit cloudy at the weekend or whatever. So it's probably shelved my plans. But the reality is it's expensive. I'm a dad. My daughter plays football. She's got a match. I can go to the Bahamas and watch it, as we all do.
You'll have a nice beach day in the Bahamas, Gaz.
Well, exactly. The face will get even more redder. I'm sunburned now. But the reality is, previously I would be like, you've got to go. You've got to go to the game. If you're a county fan, a true county fan, you'd be at that game. Let me be honest. There'll be fans there that have been 2 seasons, and they've probably been every game. Good luck to them. Fantastic. There's plenty of fans that can say, well, I've been here 20, 30 years. I've done my shift. I've been here in the National League North or whatever. There's going to be different opinions on it. However, I return my ticket on the basis that actually I might go to Wickham in the playoffs. Realistically, it might not now. It's going to be probably Charlton, I think. But it's a London. It's expensive. I'm a parent. I've got to prioritise, and that's my reasoning, as well as it's a bit of a dud game now. So that's my take on it anyway.
Well, I don't agree that it's a dud game because we still need a point.
Yeah.
And Wickham still need the points because let's face it, and because DC does play it down saying it is what it is and where we finish, but DC will want to finish as high as he can. If we haven't got second, he will want third.
Yeah,
because it's the next best thing. Finishing third, it's good momentum. Wickham will want that as well. But I will say something which will probably shock pretty much everyone that knows me, because when I first heard that people were returning tickets, I was like, what? Why? No, I was like, you said, Gaz, in the past you were fuming, but I thought about it. And yeah, I can see it. I can see it, because if it's all about, well, basically, we're going to spend the next 3 weekends in London, aren't we?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So we've got Wickham on Saturday. When we finish 3rd or 4th, we're going to have a London-based team in the first leg.
Yeah.
And then you've got, is it the following Sunday then? That it's then, or is there a week in between?
There's a gap, I'm sure. And then I'm
Yeah,
sure
there's a gap of like 10 days, isn't there?
if you
Well,
finish,
within space of 3 weeks, it's going to be 3 weekends almost in London, ain't it? So it's an expensive business, and it's people with families, and away days aren't cheap.
yeah.
So I totally understand. It's not. I'm not doing it. I'm still going down because I'm going with my brother Jamie and Ian as well, and Hannah, which is great. But Hannah's is from the Wirral, so I can't understand the words she's saying. So I need Jamie to translate, which is good. But we're still making a day of it. So
Yeah.
But I get it's expensive. So
it doesn't normally matter. Don't get me wrong. Like, we've been walloped 6-0 in the past, and the next day I put my county shirt on and I'm like, proud as punch, going chest out, like take the rough with the smooth. And I would have done Tuesday night games, and I'd be there going, oh well, we've got no reason not to. The reality is, families, commitments, expense. Daughter's birthday in a couple of months, just done Disneyland Paris and all that scenario. We're saving for something, aren't we? So I'm happy to miss that one.
Yeah, I think it's fair enough. I'll agree with Andy there. I don't think it is a dead rubber. And again, Martin does make a really good point. Need them to have some mental scars instead of us from the 5-0 earlier in this season. And that is a good point. And Dave will be going out to win. But we'll probably see a lot of subs. We'll probably see a lot of players who are going to get 45 minutes here, half an hour there as well. All he's going to be bothered about, I think, is getting a point so that we can get back to Edgeley Park for the second leg on the Wednesday or the Thursday night, and then avoiding injuries. And I'd be more than happy with that. But I do think that Wednesday or Thursday is key for us to be at home. No one wants to be, certainly for the fans as well. I don't think it's so difficult because you've got to take a day off work, and then you've got to rely on public transport at leaving somewhere around Wickham, Reading, London, whatever it's going to be at like God knows what time at night. So I think for us, if we can get that second leg at Edgeley Park, that night will be absolutely electric. I remember the Salford playoff semi-final, and what a good atmosphere that was for that game to be exactly the same, if not better, to be honest. Okay, let's have a score prediction for Wickham then.
Sorry, just to move off piece a little bit. Is there anyone you fancy in the playoffs? Me personally, one of my greatest ever away trips in the last few years was Leyton Orient away. And I'm not talking this season because I didn't go, but I think it was the last, when they got promoted, when we were in League Two. It's probably the best away day that I've done in a long, long time.
Yeah, we beat them. Was it 3?
Yeah, they were on the beach, weren't they? And we were still pushing for that third spot, I think. Was it? I think it was. I think third was still on. I can't remember now, but it was just a brilliant away day, and I'd love to go back there and have them. I don't really care because I think over 2 games, I think we'll beat Charlton.
I think I'd be most comfortable with Reading just because we've beaten them twice this season, and our game seemed to match up quite well to them. They weren't shithouses. They quite a young team trying to play football. I think Leyton Orient and Charlton will mix it up a little bit more, but that's obviously Reading have changed quite a lot, and also they're looking to get more stability in the club. Looks like they've agreed a sale, I believe, as well. So that's all going to be good for them. But I think we can take anyone over 2 legs, as you just said, Andy.
I think Reading are the banana skin. I think it's one of those games that it looks on paper easy, or should be the better game for us. But I'm looking over my shoulder. I think they're the banana skin game because they are such a young side. Anything could happen. And I'd rather avoid playing Reading.
You've got to be wary of the team that nips into the playoff because, again, there's no expectation. It's kind of let's ride the wave and do it. But you're right. We've beaten them comfortably and are back us to again. Charlton, we've had like edgy results, but I think we can edge them over 2 games. Wickham is the unknown. We've got absolutely wallops. Again, I had to arrive at half-time for that game, but I was like, the fight back's on and we got beat 5-0, didn't we? So I was like, didn't always work out for me that. But you're right. We don't want to get beat at the week, against Wickham because no team's beaten us twice this season. So it's that kind of medal that you want to keep. Winning breeds winning, so you want momentum as well. But I think it will be Charlton we play in the semis, and I think it will be Wickham at Wembley with County. That's what I think. But yeah, avoid that little team that nips in because I was trying to look at the form before and I was like, ooh. But then the reality is they're doing well. Look at our form over the last 20 games. It's very comparable to Charlton, is one thing I noticed. There's like a goal in it or something like that. But teams will look at us and go, I don't want to play them because we're the almost an unknown quantity still. But you just got to... You roll the dice and it's an unknown. It's a lottery, isn't it? But get yourself to Wembley and... surely we'll win this time because we've got great form of winning at Wembley, haven't we?
The look's got to change at some point. Go on then. Give us a score for Wickham then, Gaz.
Score for Wickham at the weekend, it'll be 1-1.
Andy?
3-2 to us.
3-2, nice. I'm going to go for a win. I think we'll beat them 2-1. Remember, they'll be thinking the same sort of stuff as us. So they'll be thinking, let's not get any injuries and let's try and maintain a top sort of 3 or 4. So I don't think they'll be pushing us. But yeah, 2-1. That's what I'm going for. Cool. Okay, moving on, peeps. So bit of news in relation to other games that are coming up this week. So tomorrow night is the ladies team are playing in the Cheshire FA Women's Cup final. So that's tomorrow night 7:30 p.m. at the Apex Taxi Stadium in Runcorn, and they're playing Poulton Victoria Ladies. I'm sure they will appreciate any support. If anyone can get across to Runcorn, that'd be good. And then our under 15s, they've got to the final of the Floodlit Cup trophy, the Floodlit Cup. And that's on Sunday, the 4th of May. That's at Edgeley Park, and it's at 7 p.m. Is it free entry for season tickets, ticket holders, or a couple of quid maybe? Worthwhile getting down there. Whether the weather has turned by then, I don't know. So yeah, that's pretty much it for stuff that we want to cover. Except, have you got anything you want to talk about, Andy?
Well, podcast-wise or just in general?
Just in general, before we do get in.
I'm joking. No, not really. Obviously the Huddersfield game. Obviously, I know Jamie was on last week and he talked about the walk and everything, and they've done phrase absolutely shitloads, haven't they? Obviously, Steve from the CCC, actually Con Club coaches, he was part of it as well. So, who were
just
in
to interrupt you,
partnership?
Andy, they have raised £10,932.65p, which is an unbelievable.
Absolutely mega.
Well done, boys.
Mega. So yeah, well done. And obviously we're in partnership, aren't we, with the CCC? It's just easier to say CCC, isn't it? Than watch Ross and Waggy fail on saying Edgley Concord coat. I can't even say
Oh,
it.
Jesus. you had to go there. You had to go there.
I said it right first time round, and then the second time round, just lost it.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, let's do getting rezzers then.
Getting the rezzers.
Come on, getting rezzers.
Getting the
One.
rezzers.
Getting rezzers.
That's rubbish. Getting rezzers.
I'm not having that. Getting rezzers.
Still can't hear Waggy in that getting rezzers.
Or me.
Sorry, mate. Or you. Can't hear you either. It's basically me, Dan, and Russ. He's cut you out. That's what it is. Anyways, Andy, you normally have 50,000 getting rezzers. What have you got for us tonight, mate?
I have no football one. Just because life's good, isn't it? Well, I did have a mini football one where I watched the highlights when Fevs was coming on. And the fourth official, you know, when they say, can I see your studs? Well, you weren't even looking. And Fevs just did 1 foot, then the other foot. I'm thinking, what's the point? What's the point in having that rule if you're not even going to be bothered to do your job? But I'm not going to have that one because I've already put the fourth officials in a while back. So I've got one from Ian.
Have you got a book down there that you're referring to, Andy? I can see you sort of...
Just checking my phone. Just checking my phone. Because Ian sent me about 15.
You've scribbled it in biro on your leg, haven't you?
Yeah, tattoo. I am tattooed on me. Just people's getting the rezzers. People that 5 months ago were moaning about the weather, who are also now moaning that it's too hot. I'll be honest with you, Ian. Get a job where you work outside. I'll tell you then, you'll be moaning then. Because it is... Don't get me wrong, I love this weather when I'm not working. But when you're working and grafting in this heat, it's hard work. So people who work outside are fully entitled to moan that it might be a bit hot. Because it was the same people who were working in the rain last year. Yeah.
So you're talking about you, basically.
No, I'm not putting me in. I'm not even putting that one in. I'm just giving Ian a mention that the one that he asked for is not going in the rezzers. No, my actual getting the rezzers was a tough one this week because it was a choice between my wife or my son.
Wow. Keeping it in the family.
Yeah. So I'm not going to put my wife in because the one with my son, I think, annoys me more. So basically, Easter comes around. Wilson gets shitloads of Easter eggs, and I mean shitloads. But he doesn't eat a full Easter egg, so he'll have a little bit of one and then leave the other bit. So now we've got about 20 half-eaten Easter eggs, all dotted around various parts of the house, in the fridge, in his bedroom, in a tub in his room. But when you go and ask him for, Wilson, can I have this Easter egg? Because I love chocolate. He'll go, no. I'm like, why? He said, well, I want it. I'm like, well, it's been there for 2 weeks. You don't even know anything about it. And he won't give me any. And I'm fuming about it. So now I just nick it.
Yeah. Always the best way.
The best thing, I haven't had one this year, but you get like Mandy on Facebook selling stuff or James from Hazel Grove flogging some food or whatever, where they do like the Easter eggs, but it's like a cheesecake one or it's like filled with like proper nice, naughty stuff, really. I'm like, get me one of them. I'll pay 15 quid. I know you've not got like a food hygiene certificate, but you'll drop it off at my house for 15 quid. I'll have that. But we haven't bought one this year. Well, that's usually our like go-to. Like rather than the cost of Easter eggs now, how stupid have they got? Like your small Easter eggs about 3 quid. Your big ones, they're like 10, 15 quid now. Even in like Aldi or whatever, I'm going, it's extortionate.
Well,
have you heard about the concept of shrinkflation as well with food?
Ooh.
So like I was listening to the Martin Lewis podcast and he was saying that like as society we're sensitive to price but not really to like the weight and the and stuff of food. So like if you look at an Easter egg now, and he actually said this, if you look at the shape of an Easter egg they've like taken some of each half out, so it's no longer an egg shape. It's like a squashed oval shape. Honestly, if you've got one in your fridge or in a cupboard somewhere, get it out, have a look at it. And they've taken about 20% of the chocolate out of it, just making it a different shape. And it's a lot thinner than it used to be as well. Same with cream eggs. I bought a pack of cream eggs to give to the Walkers, but I ended up eating them all myself because they had shitloads of cream eggs. So yeah, there we go. Instead of 6 in a pack like it used to be, it's like an egg box. Yeah, 6 in a pack. It's now 5, same price. Jaffa cake used to be 15 in a pack. Have a guess how many Jaffa cakes you get in a pack now. This could be my getting rezzers, actually. I'll do that. It's my getting rezzers. How many Jaffa cakes in a standard packet of Jaffa cakes?
Should be 12, is it?
10. It's gone down to 10.
I don't know, Jimmy. I put 5 in my hand and eat it all in one go. And then however many are left, I eat the second in the second go.
Okay.
How have you counted how many Jaffa cakes are in a packet?
Well, you can't miss it. Like literally, if you've got 10 biscuits, you can assess that within like 2 seconds. 10. It's not like 15. 15 takes longer to count, doesn't it?
Why are you counting Jaffa cakes?
Because I'm annoyed that I'm paying the same amount of money for a packet of Jaffa cakes.
I do hear you a little bit. I know this has been said on social media a lot, but Freddo bars, I am absolutely disgusted with the price that a Freddo bar is 70p. For a Freddo bar that used to be 10p, nothing's changed. It's the exact same weight and size. It's a Freddo bar. How is it 70p?
Yeah,
surely.
Bags of crisps as well, mate. Bags of crisps. You open a packet of crisps. There's like 4 crisps in there.
I've got a quick one anyway. It's football related. I would say
nice for you to bring it back round, Gaz.
Try and get some order. But I would say Wembley semi-finals can go in the rezzers. I think it's disgusting that they have the semi-finals at Wembley. I know why they do it. It'll be to recoup some cost or whatever, but I just think it waters down the whole nostalgia of the likes of the FA Cup. Bring back the days of like your Ellen Roads, your Aston Villas, where neutral venue all the way. Just reminds me of like Championship manager, football manager back in the day. But one, it's harsh on fans. Your final should be your recognition of getting to Wembley. I think semi-finals at Wembley is disgusting, but reflects modern day football, unfortunately.
It's a good point, that, because as a fan, if you're a fan of Nottingham Forest or Crystal Palace, you've not been to Wembley for God knows how many years. When you go to Wembley, you go for a semi-final and you get knocked out.
Yeah,
it's like, well, what's the point? And I think you're right. I think being able to take over half of a ground that as a Premier League club you go to, but you only get like 3,000 or 4,000 fans there, that must be pretty mint. If you get like half of Ellen Road or half of Villa Park or half of Old Trafford, that'd be so much better. And let's face it, most of the teams that are getting to, well, up until this year, most of the teams are northern teams anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, good one. That I'll do my I'll do my official getting rezzers if that's okay, boys.
That's fine with us, Jimmy. It's your time, mate, not ours.
Cheers, pal. Yeah. I've got 2 minutes until race across the world. Yeah, good one. So bag checks at grounds. It's probably been in before. So I take a little man bag in. It's big enough for like a couple of sort of flasks of tea.
Should be banned. Should be banned.
Okay, a little bag of crisps, maybe a cream egg if I've got one in the cupboard.
2 flares,
and it gets checked. Gets checked every single week. Now I've got these 2 metal like flasks that are going in, and they always let me in. Okay, now that is a weapon. Okay, I could hit someone over the head with that. I could throw it at like an opposition goalkeeper or something. So what are they checking for? If I had a flare, I'd be sticking it up my arse or down my pants or something like that. I don't have flares, but there we go. So what exactly are they checking for?
I think you meant to hold them.
Yeah.
What?
I think the correct way is to hold them.
The flare?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, there you go. I've never used one, so I can't comment on that. But yeah. So can someone tell me what are they looking for when they do a bag check?
I know. I saw some videos on Twitter the other day where it's like Boca Juniors doing a massive tifo display, and then we've got some steward called Barry going, "Will you take your top off your bottle for me?" You know, and I'm like, I mentioned that I considered taking it like a rogue bottle top just so I can gain some control and like my kid doesn't knock a bottle of Coca-Cola over the floor. But that's what we have to deal with. It's ridiculous.
What I don't understand is, though, with the whole take the bottle top off.
I love the bottle. You know,
a full bottle of Coke weighs more and you'll get more distance. I probably shouldn't say this because I don't want to say this is, you know, for anyone that's not thought of this. But, you know, I don't get it at all.
Bizarre.
Yeah. And in fairness, Martin's right. I could put a flare in my flask. I've got 2 flasks, Martin. Okay, one for Chloe and one for me. I could have 2 flares. One last thing on flares, actually. Did anyone see in the news about the Everton fans that made some like 10,000 or something red or supposedly red flares, but they put blue flare gas or whatever inside it, so that when all these Liverpool fans were celebrating like the league title, they had all this blue flares going on.
They changed the labels, didn't they? They changed the labels.
That is fucking quality. Yeah. I love that shithousery. Brilliant.
Quality that. Loved it.
Nice one. Okay, well, let's stop it there, guys. So I really enjoyed it tonight. Apologies for fucking up the intro, but there we go. Hopefully the outro is going to work okay. Thanks to Gaz. Thanks to Andy, as always. See you all soon.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Scarf Bagara War. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can catch us every week on your favourite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your contributions help keep the show running to bring the content you love. If you'd like to support the podcast and get access to exclusive special guest episodes, ad-free podcasts and a monthly giveaway, head over to patreon.com/the Scarf Bagara War. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and more. You can find us on X, Facebook and Instagram, all at County Podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow County fans. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scarf Bagara War. Come on, County!